Hi everybody. So I'm just going to give you a brief walkthrough of Canva. Hopefully now you know how to log in and you're logged in and everything. So first of all, this is what you're going to see when you log in. This is like your kind of like your homepage or your dashboard. There's the search bar, and that's what I usually use. That's kind of where I start with everything. There's also like these different buttons. So like let's say you want to make an Instagram post, you'd go to the social media. You can do popular, or you can like click on Instagram and it's right here. So these are like your categories. Okay. There's all sorts of things that you can find, all sorts of templates. And then you can also just search. So like presentation, if I wanted to make a presentation, I could search for that and that would be right there. Okay. Or I could search for my own projects if I was working on something and want to come back to it. So that is the search bar. You can also make a custom size image here, so you can change it however you'd like. So if you don't see something that you want, you can make it custom. And then along the left-hand side, this is your teams, okay? And your teams is like who you're working with. So we'll get into teams in a different section of the course, but just kind of a basic overview. This is like my team, my personal account, plus all my classes. There's a district level one, and then I was invited to some student teams to work on and collaborate with them. So then you have your projects, different templates, things that have been shared with you, your classes, which we'll talk about in a different section, and any classwork that's been turned in. Then you have a couple other tools. There's apps that you can add, and kind of if you want to go more advanced route, you can look at things like that. Okay, so different, maybe you want to add Google Drive stuff, or you want to add your Instagram, so you can easily integrate that. There's the brand kit, and I use this all the time because I have 4 different classes. So I have separate colors that I use for each of those classes, and fonts and things like that. So I have all my color-coded palettes there. I can upload any fonts that I want here. Okay, and then that's all really easily accessible. So then when I'm making something for English 9, all of those colors are just right there. The content planner is just basically a calendar, and I think it's more for like social media. So if you're planning on releasing certain posts or whatever on a certain day, that's what that's for. But then you also have here your account settings. So if there's anything that you need to add or change, you need to add classes, things like that, that will be in the settings. Okay, and then templates, there's different features. So if you want to learn more about any of these features, then you can look at the top here. All right, so let's just get started. I'm going to do an example, and I think I'm just going to do an example presentation. So I found what I wanted. I'm going to click on the presentation, and then it takes me to a new tab, and then this is like your design layout. Okay, so the top toolbar is, file. You can customize this to show the margins of something, or show rulers or guides if you want to make sure something is a certain size. Save it to a folder, make a copy, download, change the title. Okay. There's also resize, which is kind of nice. Sometimes I'll make a poster, and then I'll want to also make an Instagram post that goes along with it. So we were advertising prom. I made a prom poster, and then I also wanted to make an Instagram post so that they could post about, hey, prom tickets are on sale. So then you can resize your design into a different dimensions, which is kind of cool. And it'll make a copy, and then make, hey, here's like the square version. Okay. Obviously undo, redo. Here's where it makes sure that everything's saved. So it auto saves, but you have to be connected to the internet. Here's where you can change the name of your document. These are the people that are working on it. So I could add a collaborator if I'd like, or I can share the link with somebody to work on it. Okay. I could present it just from right here. So if I wanted to actually do the presentation from here, I can. Or I have the share button. And the share button is what you're going to use when you're done, essentially, for a lot of things. So if you want to copy a link and add people, if you want to make it a template, you want to present it, you want to download, you can download an image or a PDF. You can do all sorts of things. You can embed, you can present, you can put it on Instagram, put it on social media, save it to your Google Drive. Like, there are so many things. So it takes a while to kind of get through all of these, but a lot of them have been pretty cool. I've made like ebooks and things like that. So yeah, you can share your design with other people. So that is the top toolbar. And then we're going to go kind of across this left-hand navigation. So the first thing you're going to be presented with is a template. So if there's a template that you want, you can look here. You can just kind of scroll. Sometimes I like to just kind of choose one and say, I don't know. Okay, I'm going to look at this one. I don't know about that one. Maybe I'm looking for something like science related. So then we have science things that are here. So if you want anything specific, you can just type it in the search bar. You can also filter, like maybe you just want your presentation to be yellow, and it will filter ones that have yellow in it, and things like that. There's also just like general layouts. Okay, so if you just want like a basic, okay, I just want it to look like an agenda, but I want to make the rest of the stuff, you can also do that. Okay, so let's just choose one for right now. Okay, so that is the template button. You can start from scratch or you can use a template. Everything on the template you can change though. Okay, then we're going to get into the elements. So elements is like basically everything that you want to put on your design except for the text, okay, or any of your own personal pictures. So elements, it can be, there's lines and shapes. You can see all sorts of different lines and all sorts of different shapes. You can add them. You can make it, a bigger line or smaller. You can make it dashed. You can change the color of it. Okay. So there's that. You can do all sorts of different shapes. Like there's so many you can choose from. Okay. And you can change all the colors. You can even add like a cool animation, just like you can on Google Slides, which is kind of fun. Okay. So we have those lines and shapes. We have different graphics. Okay, so the graphics are just going to be like illustrations and clip art. They have like, maybe if you want animals, you can click on the animal category. You can also just search. So if I wanted pictures of tigers, I can just search for it and they're right there. I can search for, again, ones that have different colors in them. I can make them like static or I can make them animated, search for animated ones. I can look at the orientation. So there's all sorts of stuff that you can filter here. Okay, so then you just kind of look. Only thing to remember is that some of them, if you have just the free version, there's going to be like a little crown. Okay, and that means that it costs money. Okay, so at our district, we have the, upgraded, we have the Canva for Education plan, so we don't have to worry about that. But if you are watching and you don't, you just have the free version, then just know that the ones with the little crowns on them are going to be ones that you do have to pay for. Okay, so there's graphics. You can put different tables in, okay, if you like to organize things like that. You can put in photos, videos, audio, different charts. So if you have like data that you want, you can make it look a certain way, okay? And then you can input all of your information into the chart. There's different like little stickers, frames, and grids. So if you want to have something kind of cool and then put a photo in the frame, you can do that. See if I can get it here. There we go. So that's kind of fun. You have like a little frame. If you want to make a circle or something like that, put a picture in, you can. So there's all sorts of things basically in this element. And then you can basically just, you can search for, I want to look at hearts. And then if I want just an actual photo of a heart, okay, so like this would be an actual, photographs, things that have been taken, or if I just want like a drawing, if I want a video, audio, okay, so like there's a ton that you can do with that. Uploads. So this is where you can upload your own things. So like I have a couple of Bitmojis, pictures of my dog, whatever that I want to put in. I can upload that media just, like you would upload anything else. You just have to select your file and then that will pop up there. You can upload videos, audio, or you can just record yourself in the actual program. Okay, then we have all of the text options. So heading, subheading, and body text, that's what you're basically going to click. Okay, so if I wanted to add some text here, all right, then I can just type in there, or I can add a heading and it'll make it bigger. Okay. There's also like kind of fun ones that are already pre-made, okay, that you can use and look through if you don't want to do a bunch of design. But let's say you have your body text right here. You go over to the toolbar and here's all of your different fonts. So there's like a bajillion fonts. What's nice is that, like, I love this search bar. You can search anything. You can search for like handwriting fonts, ones that look like they've been actually, written or display, or, outlines, or whatever kind of font you want. You can look for that. This is where you change the font size. You can do plus or minus if you want to make it bigger or smaller. The colors, again, you can search and it will give you lots of different options. Bold, italics, pretty much the same things as Google Docs or anything else. There's letter spacing and line spacing, so you can stretch things out. Okay. And then there's a bunch of different effects, which are kind of fun. Let's make this a little bit bigger. So if we want to make a fancy title that looks like neon or has a background color, like there's a bunch of things you can do. You can animate it as well. If you click on these dots here, gives you more options. Underline, you can make them all caps or not. The position is like your align, so you can move it forward or backward. You can align it, top, middle, or bottom, or you can align it to the left, to the right, center. Okay, so it will align to the page that way. You can make it transparent or not. Also, a really cool thing, let's say, I worked really hard on making this cool transparent outline letters and I really like it. I can use this little copy paintbrush roller and I can press copy and then click on this one and it will do the same thing. So that's kind of a nice time saver. You can add a link so that when people click on it, they go to a certain link, whatever you may choose to put there. You can lock the element. So if you're like, oh, I keep moving that by accident, I don't want to move it anymore. You can make sure that it's locked and then unlock it. Or you can duplicate it as many times as you like or delete. Okay. So that's the text. Photos is very similar to elements. These are all photos that are okay to use. You can just put, your photos in. You can manipulate them however you like. Okay. You can crop them. You can flip it around. Align it to the top. The rest of these are similar. So you can make it a link. You can make it transparent, duplicate it. If you click edit image, this is where you get some more effects and things like that. So this is where you have the filters. You can make like a little shadow. Sometimes these take a little bit to, there we go. So there's a little shadow. I'm going to get rid of some of these. Okay. You can do all sorts of things like paint effects. There's retouching. There's a bunch. Okay. So yeah, if you want to get real fancy, you can try some of those effects. So that's the photos. And again, you can search whatever you'd like and, make your search filtered up there. All right. So then you have styles. Okay. Styles is like if you want, my internet connection is not great right now. Sorry. Styles is if you want everything to be kind of customized, like, hey, I want everything to be like my English 9, my blue colors. I can get that palette and I can kind of shuffle it around. I'm like, I know I like these colors together, but I don't know exactly which things I want. Okay, so that's kind of fun. They also have ones that are there for you. Okay, so if you're not like super design savvy, it has things that, like already kind of go together. This one's kind of funky. And it will even change the font. So you can see kind of at the bottom here how the font changes as well. So that's kind of a fun way to spruce things up if you're not feeling very creative. Then you have the background tab. You can search by a specific color. You can just search by, like I like this corkboard like background that I use. You can make, have a gradient background. There's a bunch of stuff. Okay. So, a couple things that I didn't really mention about the background and the photos and the elements and things like that. So let's say like I want to add this heart. Okay. When you click on that, there are some other recommendations. So if you're like, I kind of like the style of that, then you can see more recommendations that are similar. You can also click here and you can look at like, oh, I kind of like scribble or I like, shape and love and I need to put all of those into my search bar because I want something like this, but I don't want that exact one. So if I include all of these like little tags or keywords together, then maybe you'll find something similar. You can star, you can add it to a folder if it's one of your favorites, or you can see more that are like that one. So that's kind of fun. You can also change the colors of pretty much anything. Okay, they have a bunch of colors here. You can change it, which is pretty nice. The sizing is the same as Google and like anything else you would use on the internet, where you just kind of drag. Sometimes it's a specific size, and you can just do bigger or smaller that way. But for example, with like basic shapes, so if I just had a square here, this one has little lines on all sides, so I can make something really tall, or I can make it really wide. Okay, so some of them have that capability, and then some of them don't. Okay, so that's just kind of something to think about, is if you want to make it and kind of distort things, then you'll have to make sure that these little lines are on all sides. And then kind of a similar thing with text. Text works not exactly in the same way as Google and those programs. It makes it bigger and smaller, just like the images. So you have to do a little bit of like finagling here if you want it to fit in a certain spot. If you want it to fit on this circle over here, I might want to make it smaller. But then I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want it like that. I need to make it wider. If I wanted to make all of the things on one line, then I'd be like, okay, I have to make the text actually smaller. So you have to do a little bit of finagling there, just with like the sizing and the spacing. But once you get the hang of it, it's super easy. Okay, then I have like a bunch of other things that are on my my toolbar. So the nice thing about this toolbar is that it is customized, and it's like what you use a lot. So I have, text, and I have photos and elements and all that stuff on my toolbar. You can't get rid of some of these, but you can see things like photos. So I use photos in this element text, or this element section. Sometimes I use lines and shapes and whatever, and sometimes I use photos. I use them probably pretty equally. So I have a tab that's photos. So if I want to search for photos, I can do that quickly. But if you don't want that, or if like you don't want the style thing, you can just get rid of it. If you don't want like a background thing, you can just get rid of it. Okay, so makes it pretty easy. You can also add other things. You can look at all the things that you starred. Okay, and more. Like let's say, oh, I really use videos a lot. I want to add it. It will add videos up here. Okay, so you can kind of customize how it looks for you. Maybe you want to add like Bitmoji, and you do like Bitmoji stuff all the time. You can add that. You can add like emojis, GIFs, maps. Like you import a lot of stuff from YouTube. You can put that in there, or Instagram. There's a ton of things that you can use and just kind of customize. So I encourage you to just kind of look around and see, what might work for you and what you're interested in, and then just make your toolbar what is going to work best for you. All right. So that's just kind of a basic overview of Canva. So again, it starts with your home page here, and you can make a lot of different things. most of the things that you're going to make will go with all of the tutorial I just gave, but some of the things are a little bit different. For example, like the video. If you want to make a video, obviously there's a timing element to videos, and you're going to be adding like, different scenes and different pages and different, transitions. So it looks a little bit different on that front. So that's just something to think of. So for example, this is like a 40-second clip I could use. I can make it shorter if I want. I can make it first. Drag and drop. It's real easy. Okay. So that is just something to think about. Is there are a couple of things that are just slightly different in terms of the interface. Okay. So, kind of one of the last things I'll talk about here is for your pages. Let's say you want to duplicate, you want to have the same thing, or you want to trash it. That's right there. Or maybe you just want a new slide. You can add page 2, blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. You can even move them so that they're in a different order. Okay. Down here, this is where you can see all of your different pages. You can also, if you're having a hard time reading, you can zoom in, zoom out. You can do the percentages here, or just fit to your screen. You can look at all of your pages, and you can even move them around or add on. You can make it full screen. So there's a lot that you can do with that. Sometimes I like to also just hide this whole thing so that I have more space to work. All right. So that is kind of my general walkthrough of all of the features of Canva. I really love it because there are just so many things that you can do, and it's really fast and very easy. So if I wanted to make a quick Instagram post for my students saying, happy summer, I can make that, in like, ooh, that one looks great. I could say happy summer to my students, and then I can download that really easily. Okay. Right here. So I can download that any different way that I might want. I can make it like a GIF if I want. So yeah, it's just a super easy way to make things and make them look really good, but not a lot of time.